Good day guys, today I'll be taking you through a video where lecturers can set up a quiz or a CA for students on the University of Bamenda e-learning platform. As we all know the basic steps, we need to log into the site and log into our accounts. As I now proceed, as we all know, all lecturers are expected to have created accounts and enroll into their courses already. So once you log in, you are all set. Courses that lecturers have been enrolled into and assigned by their respective HODs into the course as a lecturer will automatically appear on their dashboard, as you can see here. This is the course which has been assigned to me, Moodle Tutorials for Lecturers, and that is what we'll be using as a sample. If you have a number of courses, all of them will appear here. Another way to look at those courses, you click on the setting icons at the top right corner of your screen. There was a little bit of a hitch there. If we click on this icon, we'll go down and we'll see courses appear here. For now, I just have only a course. I click on it and it will open. Once that course is open and I have lecturer teacher privileges in the course, I can now have this button, turn editing on. This button permits me to make changes, so I click on it. Once I click on it, I now see options by the right side of each week that has been programmed. I can now add an activity or make changes like editing and so on. Now I want to place a CA in the week 3rd June to 9th June. So I scroll down to this week and I click on add activity or resource. I go straight down to my list, through my list of resources, through my list of activities, and I select the quiz and click on add. Those basic simple steps apply for things like assignment as we've seen before. So now once I click on quizzes, it opens. There are some key factors that we need to note here. If you can see here, I set points to note. The first is the name of the CA, the second is the description, the third is the timing, the fourth is the grade and the layout, then the question behavior, the activity completion. Now the name is a required field, as we can see this red exclamation mark by the side. So it will require to give this CA a name. CA, I'll call it CA number 1 for Moodle. Now this is fine. For the description, it is not a required field, it is not compulsory, so you might as well decide to leave it blank or give your students some instructions to follow once they do the CA. For now, I'll just say students are expected to complete the CA within the required deadline. This is fine. Okay, now this description is perfect, but the students will not see it on their course page. For you to make them see it, you need to click on the checkbox which is below it, which says display description on course page. As simple as that. Now the students will be able to see them. The second item on our list, as we saw, the third item on our list was the timing. We click on the timing factor here. It permits us to set the time frame for which the quiz is going to run. Now I want this quiz to run today at 8 p.m. It should start from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. That is the window for which the quiz will be open. Now take note of something. My quiz will be just for 20 minutes, but it will be open for 2 hours. What does this mean? If a student comes in at exactly 8 p.m., he can start the quiz, and by 8:20 p.m. he will be done. If another student comes at 8:30 p.m., then by 8:50 p.m. he will be done, and so on. But if a students come after the deadline, which is 10 p.m. as I plan to set here, they will not be able to take the quiz, for the time for the quiz closure would have passed. In this case, time to open the quiz here. I click on the enable button to enable a start time. The date is already set to 16th of May 2020, which is today, and the time should be 8 p.m. that is 20 and 00. Perfect, 8 p.m. For the closing quiz time, I still want the same date, but for 2 hours later. So that will be at 10 p.m. Sorry, I need to enable first Then I click on hour. That will be 10 p.m. 00. Good. Now my time frame for the quiz has been set, a 2-hour time lapse. Now the limit for the test is essential, as I just mentioned. So I click on enable and set the test to be for 20 minutes, as you can see. Depending on the size of your quiz, the content, you may want to play around this time lapse and so on. You can change to days, weeks, hours, and so on. Okay, the fourth item on our list is the grade. Also an important point. Now when you set quizzes online, depending on the method you will choose, you want to set the grade to pass, which is 5 for me. Why am I using 5? Because I plan to set my quiz just over on 10 marks. If I set my quiz on 10 marks, then the grade to pass is 5. This is essential. You may want to put this, you may not want to put this, but it doesn't really matter. Now, a number of attempts required. Can a student take the quiz for the first 20 minutes and take it all over again? No, I don't want that to happen. So I choose 1. Number of attempts allowed is 1. So the student answers 1 and they can proceed. Now the next item on our list of points to note is the layout. So if we come back to our page and we click on layout, we get a new page. Should every question appear on one page? No. This also depends on you, the lecturer. For me, I want to set 2 questions per page. So every 2 questions you get on the page. The next item on our list, if we see, is the question behavior. So if I come back to my browser, I click on question behavior, I might be able to see options here which says shuffle within questions. What does this mean? If I have 10 questions and 2 students are answering at the same time, for example, not necessarily at the same time, but the first student's question 1 might be the second student's question 5, for example. It shuffles the choices and the options. So I want to take yes. If we check, our final important point to note here is activity completion. Now I want this activity to be marked as completed once the test has been taken or once students have taken it. Now there are options here which says completion tracking. The first choice here is the default choice. The students can manually mark the activity as completed. You can leave this too depending on you, the lecturer. For me, I want the system to do it by itself, so I say do not indicate course activity completion. With that said, the setting up of the quiz has been done. Take note that there are 2 parts involved here. You set up the quiz and then you fill in the questions. So the setting up of the quiz has been done and completed. What do we do now? We click on save and display, as you can see here. Save and display. This should take a few minutes to load and we'll see our quiz displayed on. Once it is saved, we can now see it displayed here. CA number 1 for Moodle, that is the name. It is also written here, students are expected to complete a CA within the required deadline. This is the course description I was talking to you about. Attempts allowed 1. The quiz will not be available until Saturday, 16 May 2020. So no matter if you set your quiz a week beforehand, students will always be able to see the information from the time you save the quiz. Like now, students will be able to see these instructions on their course page, but they won't be able to take the quiz yet. It is not yet available for them to take until 16th of May 2020 at 8 p.m. Now, there are no questions in the quiz yet, as you can see here. So what do? We click on the edit quiz button. Okay, it opens up, and now this is where we add. By the right hand side, you can see the add button. We click on add and we take a new question. Now there are options, choices of question types to add. You can choose between a list of them. Right now we'll just run through briefly to the ones that we are most familiar with or the ones we think we will be using commonly. Let's take the first question to be a multiple choice. We check this radio button and we add. Once it loads and open, we get the category. The category is the course. The category is the course title, the course code. Now question name. This we can give it any name. You can give it numbers. So I choose to say pure one for question 1. Now the question text, we fill it here in this box. Now I already had my questions predefined, so if I scroll down here I can get my first question. I copy it and I paste it in here. You can type them if you have the time, but you can also type them and just come online to upload. Default mark for this question, I want it to be 2 marks. Now general feedback, this is a feedback that is given to them once they answer the question, but I don't want any feedback there, so it's not a required field. I skip it. ID number, this ID number for this question, I want it to be recognized as 1 for question 1. The next option is one or multiple answers. You might have an MCQ question which has more than one correct answer, so you can choose this here, but for mine I have just one answer, not multiple answers, so I select one answer. Shuffle the choices, yes, I want it to shuffle. Number of choices, I want it to be numbered like this: A, B, C, D. First choice of answer, based on my question, what region of Cameroon is the University of Bamenda found? First choice, I want to say Southwest. Grade for this answer is none because the answer is wrong. The second choice is Northwest. The grade for this answer, as you can see here, is 100%. That is the correct answer. The third choice is the Center region. Grade for this answer is none as well because the answer is wrong. I can decide to leave my choices there. I'll have 3 choices for the MCQ. I can decide to add the 4th. I can say West. The answer here, the grade for this answer too is none because it is wrong. You can have up to 8 choices, as you can see here. Now I'm done. I save changes for this question I have added. Once that is saved, it takes me to this page, the quiz editing page, where I can locate the first question I have added. The grade point is the marks for this question is 2, and our maximum grade is 10. Total marks of 2. Now I need to add more questions so that my mark score can go up. For now, let's take the second type of question, which is true or false. I add, and if I come to my questions, I can see that my second question says I am enrolled into the course Moodle tutorial for lecturers. I copy it and I paste it in the question text box. Now question name has to be question 2, and if I come down here, default mark, I want it to be 2 as well. The ID number, let's go to 6 because I've already used the other numbers for ID. The correct answer for this question is true, so I set the answer here true. Here you can set a response, a feedback response for if a student takes true, and a feedback response for if a student takes false. I save my changes, and now I can see on my question page that the second question has been added, and both of them are going to appear on page 1, as you can see here. If I add the third question, and this third question is going to be the short answer type of question. I click on short answer and I click on add. I set the question name, which is question 3, Q3 for question 3. I put in my text, my question. How many regions are there in Cameroon? That's our question. Our default mark, we set it to 2 as I wish. This also depends on you, the lecturer. I give it an ID number of 7. Case sensitivity. We don't want case sensitivity to be a problem if a student uses uppercase or lowercase letter to give their answers. So in this case, which is a short answer type, we can have a variety of answers. Like for example, this answer is 10. A student can write it in words or in figures. So answer 1 here, we indicate 10. We give it a grade of 100%. 10 in words is correct. We come for answer 2. If a student writes 10 in figures, it is still correct, so also give it a grade of 100%. So whichever one a student answers is correct. No other question is applies in this our particular question. So we save changes, and we can now see on our course page that the third question has been added.